Welcome, folks. You've been listening to Brian Martin as they sing Deliverance and Praise. And I've received my deliverance through praise, and you can too. That was an awesome blessing of a song. But we're excited tonight because we have an awesome speaker. She's an author. She's an entertainment coach. She's done it all. She's been in the industry for many, many years, and she's here to bless you tonight with not only her testimony, but some tips of what you can do if you're an individual who's in the entertainment business and want to know the business side of the entertainment world. Tonight, folks, we have Chalmbra Bernard. Welcome to Atlanta Live.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I mean, I really got my start in the entertainment industry about 20 years ago. And, you know, of course, I was a young child then, right? But I started in musical theater, and I've been in such, you know, productions like Dreamgirls, Aida,
Really?
Showboat.
Wow.
So that's really where I got my start. And from there, you know, I really started singing, and I've done a lot of singing with churches and praise and worship teams. And so from there, I was really basically able to get involved with the entertainment industry and to get an understanding as to, you know, what drives it, you know, what drives entertainers, you know, how can they become better business professionals. I mean, we know that the industry on both sides of the spectrum, both gospel, non-gospel, you know, sometimes they have other plans and other directives that they want to do, and sometimes that's a struggle for them. Maybe they didn't get the training.
Now, those plays that you were a part of, I know that at one time New York was the main, like, entertainment hub for that type of industry and that type of form of entertainment. But the social landscape here in Atlanta has changed over the last 10, 15, 20 years. And so are you seeing that there's a large influx of people who are coming even here that are looking for that type of expertise in the entertainment world?
Absolutely. I mean, Atlanta has really become an entertainment hub. You know, I mean, a lot of movies are coming here. There's a lot of independent theater productions. There's actually a lot of professional productions as well. Broadway comes to the Fox a lot, you know. So believe it or not, Atlanta is really, really a great place to be working as an entertainer.
So you came in from the backside. You were actually in the business and meeting actors and people in the entertainment world. How did you sort of evolve into helping them?
Because, you know, I went to school and I got my bachelor's in business, and I actually am getting a master's now in entertainment business, so that kind of really helps me to understand a little bit more of the back end. But because I've also worked not only in front of the camera and on stage, I also have worked at stage management. I've also been behind the scenes as casting director, so it really helps to kind of have a holistic view of what entertainers go through on a day-to-day basis.
And you know what I think is interesting, you know, with everything that's changing in the industry, with Christian and the secular merging. Have you heard of the Merge Conference?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So it's sort of like wide open now. Do you find more Christians are looking to get into entertainment now? Is there something happening right now where Christians want to be in entertainment?
Yeah, and you know, it's really funny because I have a friend, I mean, you know, she's a phenomenal Christian artist, and you know, one of the really cool things is that she also wants to do other lines of business. You know, she doesn't want to just stay focused on singing, and what I really tell a lot of people that are singers, musicians, artists, or what have you, is, you know, you want to build your brand, okay? You don't want to just stay and think that you're going to be singing your whole life and not have an established brand, you know? So maybe while you're singing, you can establish maybe some type of restaurant if you're into the food industry, or maybe you can establish some type of jewelry line, or, you know, something in fashion. So you want to think holistically, right? And really build a brand.
And I was really excited about interviewing you tonight because we kind of have a similar, you know, line of work. You talk about the business of the entertainment world.
Yes.
And as a speaker for the last 15 years, I teach people and coach people on the business of the public speaking and publishing world. Because a lot of times people have talent, but I was always taught that your business must be better than your talent.
Absolutely.
So in this world where so many people have a lot of natural talent and they've perfected their craft, how can they become more business savvy? What are some general tips and principles that someone should know as they enter into this industry?
Well, yeah, number one I think we touched on is branding. You know what you want to tell people. What do you say? What does your image say? What does your company say? What does your talent say about you? That's important. Once you've established that, you want to know what type of market are you looking to dive into? Who are you targeting? You know, do you only want to talk to people that are, you know, young younger, or you really want to get into people that are more established and more established in their career.
Right.
So who are you serving? And I think another one would really be based on, you know, what type of finances, you know, what are your finances looking like? Because that's going to be important before you really get into establishing yourself. You need to know what type of financial backing you have.
You know, hold on. What was interesting about what you said earlier about kind of diversifying yourself?
Absolutely.
Authors often come to me and think, well, once I've written a book, that's it. Well, that's just the beginning. So we talk about how to diversify yourself and how to transition from being an author to an infopreneur, an information entrepreneur, because you have CDs and DVDs and T-shirts and paraphernalia. So you really help them understand how to have long staying power as relates to that?
Multiple streams of income, right? I mean, even though we are, you know, in the gospel industry and as Christians and things, we still need to build multiple streams of income for ourselves, right? So that we can be sustained now and in the future.
Right. Well, earlier we talked about like social media.
Yes.
So how important a role does that play now?
Oh,
do you talk about that with your clients?
Absolutely. I mean, right now, who is not on Facebook?
Right.
You know, there's LinkedIn, there's Twitter. I mean, really, that's almost the norm now. I mean, there are a lot of people that are using marketing techniques, and their focus is social media. You know, I mean, I can't think, you know, 10 years ago, we didn't really have bloggers.
We didn't have it. But can you succeed without it now? Like,
No.
it seems like if you don't have some type of presence social media-wise, you are not in the game.
Right.
And I can recall maybe 5 or 6 years ago looking at celebrities, even Will Smith, I remember, who had like one basic page and that was all he had. And you had a lot of actors that really didn't have websites, had no presence online, and now it's so critical.
Right. I mean, the first question people ask is, what's your website?
That's true.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it's definitely necessary.
The website has become like the business card. If you don't have a website, how you, I mean, huh? Really?
Right, right. And it's funny you talked about, you know, authors. I mean, authors now, you know, I can't think of a lot of authors that had websites in the past either. But, you know, it's important now because they don't want to know just about what your book is about, but they want to know who you are.
Right.
You know, why did you write this?
Yes.
You know, what was your directive? You know, where did you get your inspiration from?
But in dealing with that, we talked about your profession, but let's get to know who you are, because there's a very powerful story and testimony that you have that has even led to this book.
Yes,
so let's know the other side of it.
Well, one thing is that really has driven the inspiration for the book is that I am a cancer survivor. Wow. I had cancer once when I was 2. That's when they initially diagnosed it.
2 years old.
2 years old. Yes, 2 years old. And then they thought it was in remission, but it came back at 6 years old. And at 6 years old, that's when they realized that I needed intense radiation, intense chemotherapy. And honestly, my whole life has been affected by the cancer. Thank God he healed me. I mean, he is so awesome, you know. I mean, and with that, though, I mean, one thing I say about survival, you know, because, you know, now I'm a cancer survivor over 20 years, you know, and but the thing is, you know, surviving is an everyday thing. Because of the cancer, I've also had, you know, well, I shouldn't say because of the cancer. More so it's because of the chemotherapy, the medicine that's involved. It also affected my kidney. So at one point in my life, I had chronic kidney disease. Another point in my life, I had advanced heart failure. As a matter of fact, this past summer, God recently healed me from advanced heart failure. So now, you know, I mean, I'm still taking medicine. You know, I mean, we're in the real world. You know, there's still medicines that I'm taking. But, you know, I am living every single day. And that's what my book is about, living every day.
What I really love about this is you talk about you're a survivor 20 years. So that means that you have to continue to survive. And this book that you wrote, which is a daily journal, Living Every Day, I think it's significant that you are taking every day to sort of document how am I feeling today and what's, you know, sort of looking into the future, writing every day what's going on. I think that's critical because when it comes to cancer, the fact that you had it twice and you were a survivor both times and you've been 20 years free, that speaks to what's been going on with you, letting all of this stuff out in a journal. Journaling is significant.
It is so fulfilling. I mean, part of the healing process is writing stuff down. You know, we kind of got away from that. I think we spoke a little bit about that earlier, but, you know, just writing stuff down it's so fulfilling. And then one of the great things is that you're creating a memory for yourself, and you're creating something that helps other people, where you can also inspire other people. You know, I feel like, you know, when you're documenting things, it's not just about your journey. You know, even thinking about scriptures and things. If people had not written things down, you know, I mean, would we really have the testimony of Jesus? You know, if we did not have all of that, where would we get all that from? So, you know, documenting and writing down, I mean, you're creating a memory.
It heals the soul. It heals the soul. You know, I'm so sporadic with journaling, and I want to get more into journaling because when I was in my zone, and I used to journal all the time, it's something that really frees the soul because we all have things that we've gone through, history, and whatever your past is, and writing it out is something about getting it off. The Bible even tells you to write it down and make it plain.
Thank you.
So now you're getting it off of your heart because that's where it's resting. Those issues, the pain, the fear, whatever it is sitting on your heart, and now you have an opportunity to write it out.
Right.
And it's healing.
Yeah, you know, and one of the things too in regards to journaling is that, you know, as you're writing it out, it's all about attitude, right? Okay, it's all about what you do. How are you living every day? You know, it's not just about, okay, let me write down all of these negative things that I went through, but you know, part of healing and part of living every day is the attitude that you take on the things that you go through.
Letting it go.
Because realizing that every day you're not going to have a great day, but what is your perspective on what it is that you're going through, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
There's so many people that are watching right now that are afflicted with all types of illnesses and diseases and all types of things. And a lot of times when you're sick and you don't feel good, you don't feel good emotionally. You may be bitter, you may be resentful, you may be short with people, you may have attitude. So as it relates to a positive mental attitude, that is absolutely critical. How do you teach people to fight the temptation of living in misery and taking on that positive perspective?
Well, taking on a positive perspective is really important because you want to know that whatever it is that you're dealing with or whatever you're going through, it's not only for you. You know, it's not only, it's part of your healing process, but you're helping somebody else, you know, and that's why I say, you know, the importance of journaling is because, you know, as you're writing stuff down, as you're journaling, as you're taking a more positive perspective on what it is that you're going through, that pain is really used to uplift somebody else, you know, and so I cannot stress how important, you know, attitude is and outlook is on everything that you're going through because, you know, I always say, you know, small victories lead to awesome celebrations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so look at everything like that.
Yeah, and I even think about sometimes when I go and read some of my journals, my old journals, I'm like, wow, I actually went through that. That was me, or that was the issue. Wow. It's really something to look back and see your old self, because that's really what it is on paper.
I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, really, because there are some things you might write down today, and you may not even realize that you had that emotion 10 days ago.
Oh, yes.
You know, and then you can also see how far you've come. So it's encouraging. You know, it's uplifting also.
So for those that are in that struggle, in that challenge, you know, we believe that God can heal. God can do it just like that. But then for others, there's a journey. So what advice would you give to those that are watching you right now in terms of overcoming the journey of whatever illness they may be dealing with currently right now?
Know that everything that you deal with on a day-to-day basis is part of your story. You're creating a story. You are writing your journey. You're walking through it. And just because you might be dealing with something that's really difficult or seems very difficult, just know that, you know, God is still in the healing business and know that we will make it through. You know, we know that it takes a village to raise a child, right? So, I mean, with the support of others, knowing from other people's stories, people hearing me right now, you know, hearing my story, it's an uplifting process, and it's all part of your journey. You know, I mean, everything is not easy. You know, going through cancer and chemotherapy, it was not the easiest process. But one thing that I can say is that I never lived a day of my life, even now, thinking that I was different or thinking on what it was I was dealing with. I always lived my life as if I knew I wanted to experience more. I wanted to do more. So even as a child, my parents, you know, they even enrolled me in dance classes. Even though I was going through chemotherapy, I was still in a lot of different clubs and associations, 4-H, Girl Scouts, and things of that nature. The real thing is, when you're dealing with something, you know, don't focus on what you're dealing with. Focus on living. The experience of living is so amazing. It is just so amazing, and that alone will encourage you. It will encourage the person next to you and others that are also going through it.
And when you're focusing on living and not focusing on your situation, you begin to appreciate everything around you. You can smell the flowers and appreciate it. You can hear the birds chirping and appreciate it. And that's true. Having a new lease on life and appreciating all that God has blessed you with. So listen, we're wrapping up, but I would love for you to tell the people how they can find out more about your book. Where can they get it?
Absolutely. My website is www.chalmbra.com. I'm also on Twitter at Chalmbra. I can also be found on Facebook, of course, facebook.com/Chalmbra. And I look forward to hearing from everybody. So, yeah, definitely tweet me, Facebook me.
Folks, living every day. This is a powerful, powerful book that we want you to get so that you can begin to journey and talk about to yourself how God has helped you overcome. Listen, we're going to the phone lines right now. For all of those that are watching that have had similar experiences, we want you to call them right now because there are people who are ready to pray with you and to help you through your journey. Stay tuned.